So, fun fact, this vlog I'm doing right now, I recorded twice yesterday. The first time I recorded, basically what had happened was I didn't like the way it came out, so I deleted it. It was only about under 10 seconds, but that's beside the point. The second one I did, but because I'm sick and my voice, I kind of realize is in a bad place right now. When I mean bad place, I mean the acoustics in here are terrible, and my voice just isn't really good for this camera, but that's beside the point. So I have to change my voice in order to make this video. I can't talk my normal relaxed voice that I like usually doing on Instagram. And usually the camera's like this close to my face, so that's probably why I sound better on Instagram. But I figured, because I'm a artiste, I will go into this vlog again. And because the vlog itself actually is going to be me talking, and I want you guys to actually go and cooperate with me here, because that's the best way for me to describe it. I'm going to ask you questions throughout the whole entire damn thing, and I want you to actually respond back to me, judge upon like what I do ask of you and what my question is, because I want you to imagine this is actually a conversation between us. Anyways, here I go. So, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, and she has a major in sociology, and you have to understand that she has a really good opinion on stuff like this. And the question is, are people born evil, or are people just are people born evil, or the other? Do people just get into bad things? Because in my humble opinion, and this is like, again, I know I'm using this word a lot, but it's because I want you guys to understand. But understand this. It's basically, when this conversation usually comes up, I know I'm not the only one when I say that. Basically, I go and I make the prime example first, and I do make prime examples on a lot of stuff, and that's because I like the factual opinion, you know what I mean? So I think that's because when this came up, my first response was, look at Hitler. And I say that, but people really don't know what I mean by look at Hitler, because first off, it's kind of funny, and if I say it to the right people that I'm thinking of right now, they'd probably laugh because they love Hitler memes. Beside the point. Basically, my thing is look at Hitler. Okay, now bear with me, because I know you'll get the neo-Nazi vibe when I say this, but Hitler didn't start off out the womb, in my humble opinion, from what I understand and from what I read, a badass. Like, he wasn't like a kid, he wasn't like that baby that fucking tipped over shit for no reason, and he wasn't like that kid in school who sniffed salt and shit. Like, he wasn't like that weirdo kid that lived next door to you, like, that always asked you if you want pancakes. Like, I made a lot of examples of a lot of different people, that's bad. Anyways, my point is just like, I don't think anyone's actually born evil. I think that it's just, you could develop and you could become something more than yourself. And I hate to say it, sometimes that is evil, or that is malicious things. You know what I mean? That's going for something. You know what I mean? You meet people who they say, I want to be a daredevil. I want to be a daredevil when I grow up, and they become daredevils. And then you have to question, and then people question their life decisions because, you know what I mean, why would you want to hurt yourself for a living, or why would you kill yourself for a living? And like, you know what I mean, you meet UFC fighters, people make the argument like saying like that's what they do for a living. They get beat up for a living, and it's like, yeah, but it's more than that. I think that it's more passionate than that. You know what I mean? And I think when people have a passion for something that's malicious, or, you know what I mean, like evil and I guess bad, and their mindset is just completely outrageous. It goes out of control. I think because I've met people like this. Now I'm going, like, you know what I mean, to the more human side. Like, I've met people like this. Sometimes like their opinion and like their mindset just goes out of control, and their opinion becomes so large in their own minds that they know that they're right. You know what I mean? And then because of that, they want to see that things go their way at all times. And I think that's like me dissecting a caricature in people that associates with evil, but not evil itself. But that's my thing. If you take what I just said and you apply it to, like, let's say somebody who wants to, I don't know, again, like going back to like Hitler. Like let's not say that this is a badass person. Let's not say that this is a badass kid. Let's say this is just like a troubled kid. You know what I mean? Maybe he'd say, I want to be a cop, but like the kid follows it up with like, but I want to kill people, and like you'd question shit, you know what I mean? And if a kid just straight out said, "I want to kill people for a living," then it's pretty obvious that something's up. You know what I mean? Because like I watched the Dr. Phil shit, and I noticed that there's been a huge fucking uproar in those fucking kids that are like, I don't know if it's just the stuff that I'm watching, but I've seen a fucking huge uproar and like the fucking stuff that like it's Dr. Phil has like kids that like think that they're the devil or that like kill their siblings. Like you find like the parents who are like shit scared of their kids, and like that's when the conversation comes up even bigger. That's where the conversation comes up even bigger, where it's just like, could you be born evil? And I'm like, no, I think that just situations and things that happen to you could make you evil, and the situations happen to probably that little girl is that she's sick. I mean, she probably has a mental illness that she needs to deal with, and that's my point. I think that Hitler, the example I made earlier and the example I'm making now, the reason why I always use him as an example of can you be born evil is because Hitler probably was not made, but pretty much the situations and the things that happened to him caused him to think the way that he did, and basically his mindset and his agenda and his appeal, sadly, became bigger than him. And I know that this is kind of going from emotion to like political shit, and like then you again, I know I'm really walking the thin line of neo-Nazi right now, but when I think that you look at somebody like, let's say you meet kids who get bullied and like they shoot up schools, and like kids who are neglected, you know what I mean, are more likely to, you hear shit like this, like kids who are neglected are more likely to be socially out of touch, and it's like, I don't know what to say about that, because again, that's a whole other beast, and that's like when you have to question that, you have to question humanity and the human race, and you know what I mean, and you have to actually look at that scale that people talk about, which is, does the good outweigh the bad, and does the bad outweigh the good, and all this stuff. But this is the thing, like, I want to ask you, what do you think it is at the end of the day? Are people born bad? Are people born good? Are people just caught up in some shit? Because I mean, look, on a personal level, I'll end it with this because it's actually my humble opinion on it, and this is like it. I'm done. My thing is, I don't think you could be born evil. I don't think you could be born good either. I think that everybody does based on what it is that they want to do. And I think that when those things are complicated or things like that get out of hand, and things that you have to do and that you want to do for yourself kind of become blurred, and the line between those things kind of like, you know what I mean, become intertwined even, you have to look at it in the sense where it's that person's mental state and their physicality, their spirituality. If it's tampered with, it could actually affect a lot of decisions they'll make in the future, and that's sad. And again, I know we're going to look at bad examples, but look at people who were privileged, that got their noses up in the air, that we all make the prime example of. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it, but it's really up to you at the end of the day, how you are and how you act and what you do. And a lot of people use the word like, oh, we're fully responsible for ourselves at the end of the day, and I don't fully believe that. I actually really don't, because I think that we are responsible for ourselves, but we let people into our responsibility. And at the end of the day, when we become responsible for people and people become responsible for us, that could be tampered with, and that could have a lot to do and affect with our lives. I mean, I'm not being a psychiatrist and telling you how it is. I'm not that kind of guy. Well, I am if you come to me for advice, but I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. So if you call yourself a douche, or you call yourself a jackass, because I read this on a Facebook post earlier, everyone gets it, you're an edgelord. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what it is you are, what it is you do. Like, if you're a good person, if you're somebody who donates to charity daily, and you work at a old person's home, and you go to church on Sundays, whatever, that's you, man. That's great. I'm happy for you. I mean, if you're somebody who drinks a fifth of alcohol every morning, and you're shitty to all your friends and family, and like that's the lifestyle you want to live, I mean, I don't approve of it, but I'm not going to tell you how to live your life again. Because again, I wanted just to finish it with that, and that's again my opinion. Like, I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. There's not much we can do for a lot of people. If people are born evil and they want to be serial killers when they grow up, we can't control it. We don't know how to stop it. I mean, if we could, I'm sure we would, but how? Oh, I ended it on a sad note. Well, until then, take it easy, guys. And hey, subscribe.